In honour of D-Day, my local cinema showed Saving Private Ryan. One of the greatest war films of all time. One of the greatest movies of all time. So good. So good, guys. Hey guys, my name's Jim and welcome back to my movie obsession, a place of film obsessives and geeky movie fans. Now, I had not seen Saving Private Ryan, believe it or not, before I knew my local cinema was showing it. I hadn't seen Saving Private Ryan. Went in there. I'm a big fan of lots of, Apocalypse Now I think is the best war film I've seen. But now it's in contention with this. Apocalypse Now, just a bleak, dark, just the spectacle and the horror of war. But this is just taking it to a whole other level. This made me just realise the horrors of war on an even deeper personal level. It's an absolutely incredible piece of work. And seeing it in the cinema, guys, was just an immersive, incredible, gritty and just affecting experience. And once again, it proves Steven Spielberg is one of the kings of cinema. You know, he can make these whimsical fairy tales and these romances and all this kind of stuff, and then he can just take you into the horrors of World War II, as deep and as dark and as dirty as anyone ever has. This is a superbly directed film. This is just an immersive cinema experience. Steven Spielberg literally just puts you in this incredible, terrifying, horrible situation that really happened. And every time I watch these war films, I always sit back and I always say, this stuff really happened, and it just blows my mind even more. The battle scenes in this film, seeing it in the cinema, are some of the greatest war scenes of all time. I feel like the way that Steven Spielberg creates this realism, this true to life, this grittiness, this pulling no punches. There's blood, there's intestines, there's body parts everywhere. There's the true horror, the true loss of human life that happened in World War II. This film shows it in all its disgusting and just uncompromising way. And I think Steven Spielberg could have watered things down, but he didn't. He made one of the most uncompromising war films ever made, and the war scenes they overwhelm you. They really do. They get under your skin. They just make you feel like this actually happened. This is crazy. What was going on with the human race? What is going on with the human race? That war still exists. How can this shit still be happening, or close to this shit? I don't know what wars are going on around the world. There's lots of wars. War is just such an unfathomable, horrible thing, and this film shows that. But it's also a thing that shows humanity in a way. You get these regular people who have to go to war, and I'd rather they didn't have to, but when they do it, it's just a battle of holding on to your humanity. And this is a film about how much can happen before you lose who you are, and before you lose your empathy and your compassion. And this is in ways I just love the little moments where these characters hold on to that empathy, hold on to that compassion, hold on to that hope, and it makes it even stronger inside of them. Like, you can just tell that there's so much humanity still left in these soldiers, but it's become stifled, it's become hidden, and it comes out at certain moments, certain conversations, certain gestures between the men, and you could just see the real human interactions going on. This is such a human film, just so many little moments where these guys sit down in a break between the action, and I feel like the script is masterful. You really do get to know Tom Hanks and his team, and you really like them. You really see the best in these people, and you really see that they're just trying to do their best in this situation, and you put yourself in those shoes, because it could have been you, which is crazy. I could have been in this stuff. If this was, if I was born back then, I could have been in that war, and it just blows my mind to think about it, how different the world is. And would I be as courageous, as brave, as just unfathomably enduring as these men? I don't know. And that sort of shows that these men were incredible. These men were special. These men, they might have just been regular people, but to have this level of bravery, to have this level of going out there and not just running away, and actually fighting it for our freedoms, blows my mind again. It absolutely just overwhelms me, guys. You've got stunning performances all the way through from Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Tom Sizemore, and I really like Jeremy Davies in this, who is like a young kid who goes on his first kind of mission. He never fired a gun, And he seems to be a pacifist because he doesn't want to kill anyone. And he tries to connect with the rest of the group by trying to, be like the new kid. And he's a really kind young man. And he's a pacifist. And there's just moments in this where he's just running around the battlefield trying to not get hit. And trying to not inflict, killing on anyone. And he breaks down, and you just see, and I kind of connect to that because I don't know if I would be capable of killing someone in a war. So I identify with these characters. There's always a character like it in a war film. Usually where there's one who just doesn't want to do it, and I think this is one of the most effective displays of that because you like the kid. You see why the kid doesn't want to fight, and you like that he's holding on to his morals and he's not going to let this thing corrupt him. And he's going to hold on to who he really is. And he's going to call things out as well. He's not just going to sit there, because he does sit there and run around from the war and try and get away from it, but he does do a few brave things when he's running around. So, he's not like he's a coward. So he's a pacifist, but he's not a coward. He stands up to Tom Hanks, he stands up to the other guys. And you really like this character. It's a real emotional journey this kid goes on. Tom Hanks, you're the man. I don't really talk about Tom Hanks a lot because he's one of those actors who just seems to be there, and he's always there, he's a constant. But then when you see him and stuff, you're like, oh yeah, Tom Hanks. He's a talented bastard. Tom Hanks is incredible in this film. Another performance to add to his list of epic performances. The seriousness to him, the toughness in his performance, but his love for his team and not wanting any of them to die, but he tries to bring them through it and not let them see his weakness, but sometimes he just has to. He has to break down. And you see those human moments, you see those looks on his face, wonderful facial expressions, wonderful back and forth with several actors. I really like the conversation he has with Matt Damon. Both actors are on fire in that scene. Tom Hanks, guys, I don't really talk about him much, but he is up there. He's up there with Robert De Niro. He's up there with Al Pacino. He has to be. He's one of the greatest actors of all time, and this is one of his best performances, if not his best. I think the two best scenes in this film are the one where the team are trying to infiltrate this base, and there's a family with children who are just stuck in the top of a building, and they try and get the soldiers to help them out, and it causes things to go wrong in a massive way. The tension is impeccable, the grittiness is impeccable, the gripping nature of the scenes, the intensity. You're just hooked to this. And I don't think I've ever been absorbed as much into a war film, I will say that. Apocalypse Now, I said, but it's this, guys. This is the most absorbing war film ever made. This is the one that really made me... I felt it in other ones, but this just put me in the shoes so much. And I still know that even though it felt like it put me in the shoes, I can't fathom what these men went through. And that's why it's such a fascinating subject for me, and such a fascinating movie. The final scene where... Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore, and all these characters have to look after this base where the Germans are just coming in, full force, boom, 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 boom. Being in that cinema, I was just overwhelmed. It's one of the most incredible combinations to a film of all time. It is. Steven Spielberg, he's the man, guys. Steven Spielberg, I don't know what he was doing. His head has just gone into realms of possibilities that I could never fathom. The fact that this is the guy who made E.T. and Jaws and Ready Player One, just so many just different films, even though I don't like Ready Player One, but okay, better example. Lincoln, those are all these different films. Steven Spielberg, Close Encounters, and then he just makes this unbelievable culmination to a war that is just, it's like a punch to the gut. And I love this film, guys. It's actually would make its way into the best films I've ever seen. It's an absolute masterpiece. It really is. It's a masterwork. And seeing it in the cinema just elevated it even more, and I was just blown away. I was overwhelmed. So thanks for watching, everyone. Did your theatre play Saving Private Ryan? If it did, you're very lucky, like I am, to have seen it. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comments down below. Did you go and see it in the cinema? If not, what do you think of the movie, guys? I want to discuss this film. Let's have a talk in the comments down below. This movie has just floored me, to be honest. And please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and watch another one on the screen now. I usually talk about retro movies from the 80s and 90s, superhero movies, as well as other geeky movie stuff. So please subscribe and we can discuss our movie obsession. I will see you guys next time.